Hey, make me the co-host.
Here they go. What's going on, Tonya?
How's it going?
All right.
I'm just starting the recording on the other app.
Ropes to Rome. I'm so excited about this one. We're also on the Beem app, guys. So if you want to hang out on the Beem app and chit chat, or just watch my live stream, you could do that too.
So we're ready to go. We're live streaming on YouTube, Facebook group, Twitch, and I wrote an event page for it. So when we're done, my designer should move this into a blog. So I'll tag everybody. So it'll be really good for Roads to Rome show. Also, I'm excited about this space.
Me too, man. Have you seen their cartoon? Is hilarious.
I know we were watching. Actually, we had it on I was on the YouTube channel.
Animation blows my mind, man. Roads to Rome, are you guys there? Usually we have more people packed in here, but no.
Let me tweet out. Hold on. Let's retweet the space.
Oh, I got to invite. My bad. That's my bad. I don't know if you guys have a Beam account. You could hop on the Beam and we could talk on there as well. I invited him to speak, but is he rugging?
Yeah. No. Yeah. He's trying to get up. I might have to update your app. Yeah. He's not. The app got updated. If you don't update your app, it will not work.
Okay. Quick little fix here, guys. No, it's updated.
Oh, they'll be back. So how's your week? When are we gonna do a space about your music and stuff? Here he is. Yeah, you sound great. I can hear you.
Roads to Rome. I just sent them a invite.
And you can only use this off of your mobile unless you have an iRig or something. It doesn't really work well on if it's connected to a desktop.
Has to be mobile, guys. Can't be a PC.
They have the unethical Cupids here. This is their NFT project. I invited them to speak.
Okay, yeah, maybe they could use that one.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Hi.
Hey, I think Twitter's having some issues. Yesterday, I ran into a bunch of problems where I wasn't able to be brought up as a speaker, and it was like rugging, and so maybe that's just what's going on.
Maybe it has to be
This
something.
just had an update.
Yeah, how you guys doing? I'm Ryko, by the way.
What's going on, man?
Hi.
What's I think I know Joe's trying to get on here, but I think he's struggling a little bit.
Man, do you guys have Beam? Did you download the Beam app?
Yeah, I have Beam. I usually use just Beam through the desktop.
Yeah, because you can because I'm on Beam now. The virtual, what you call it, is open.
Okay.
But I could also stream the audio through to the Twitter space.
Oh, interesting.
Hello? Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, okay. We can hear you now.
Oh, okay, great. That was really weird. I was trying to talk and I'm like, hey, how's it going? No one's responding. I'm like,
Literally happened to me last night.
really weird. How you guys doing? Thanks so much for having us on. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man. No problem.
And what's
It's
your
an
name
honor.
again? Sorry.
Thanks for being here.
Of course. Nice to meet you, Tonya. And who's on Starseed again?
Geno, this is Geno right here.
Hey, Geno. How's it going?
All right, man. Glad to have you guys here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Usually there's more people in here. I don't know if they're having problems getting in or what, but
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't even think I could hear you guys speaking before. I saw Tonya going on and off speaker, and I figured she was speaking during that time, but I couldn't hear anything. It might be that. I think Twitter Spaces is having some issues the past week or so, because I've heard this a few times now. But yeah, in terms of the viewings tonight at 8 p.m. on Beam, right?
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yep, that's what we let our community know. We've noticed that, like, for whatever reason, the reason it's probably so low today is midday spaces during the week, for whatever reason, just don't hack as well. We started moving ours to like usually between 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because that's usually the ones that like pack out the most. 8 is good too, because like 8 p.m. because you get like the West Coast people coming off like the 5 p.m. and you have the East Coast, so that might be why it's low. We've experimented with a bunch of different ways to do this, so sometimes you get 40 people, sometimes you get 6. Just the roll of the dice.
Actually, Twitter, the busiest time is between 12. It's busier than the evening. It's really between 12 to 3.
Right.
I think that's the case, is because that's when people from the West Coast is checking their phone, and the people from the East Coast is going to lunch. So, but then for evening time, depending on again your niche and your marketplace. But
right,
I really appreciate you guys for being here. We are streaming on YouTube. I created an event page for you, and I'm the founder of Social Chat. So we've been live streaming since February of 2010. So we just to us, it's really not about how many people are in the space, is how many people will be watching it in the long run in the future. So as your brand, as your show, your series, and as the NFT Web3 grows, we're excited about it, because we're like one of the first one, right, Geno? And Geno is the Starseed founder, Starseed Film and Music founder. And that's him. I think he's trying to run Beam at the same time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to learn more about Starseed Film and Music. I saw a post of yours the other day where you were talking about connecting music and film, and I mean that's something we know we are super interested in, because we're a smaller production studio, and as we grow out, we're trying to bring in like more of a score and more of a sound to our animated series. and we have sound design and all that, but in terms of score and music and some more to give the show a more personalized feel as we grow, that's something we're super interested in. So I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, I'll let you guys. Uh, I'll talk about that for a second before we get started. Starseed Film. Well, I came from the music side of things, and Starseed Film and Music. It's my dream to be a filmmaker. You know what I'm saying? I've been working on a script for like a decade now. I started writing, and then I even started writing the tracks to the movie. I want to score my own music. So, but what Starseed Film and Music is, and which you saw about making a bridge from the music industry into film, what I want to do is filmmakers are always looking for dope music to put into their films. So I wanted to take the mixtape idea from the music business and put like the hottest artist on that mixtape specifically for people in the film industry to listen to and connect with and network, and maybe they could link up and put that artist on an upcoming film or television show. So I don't want it to be like a monthly mixtape. It might be like every 3 months or something like that. But that's definitely the first bridge I'm working on. Then me and She Crypto were working on something called a director spotlight, and what that is, we're going to be interviewing videographers and music video producers, just like we're interviewing you guys from the music side of things. So I no nobody really talks about like the Hype Williamses of the world. He was a great music director and a videographer. He produced a lot of the Missy videos and Busta Rhymes videos, and those are like pieces of work. They're like little movies. So there are a lot more people out there like Hype Williams, but they're just not getting the spotlight. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
That's really cool. Yeah, there's that's the first time I've heard of that type of project here in the space. So it's really cool to see that. And I know that a lot of animated series, who are in the space are looking for that. And there's countless movies too now too that are coming in that I'm sure you'd be able to connect with.
Well, and I think also, like in the space, it's almost like a requirement now for projects, even if you're not animation based, to have some sort of like teaser for the project. I mean, it's not a requirement, but it's almost like an unspoken, kind of requirement. Like the vast majority of these projects now that are launching, like they need some sort of like rich media. And usually it's like some sort of animated video or like some sort of professionally done video that's always going to like original sound, original score. Otherwise you have to license something, or you just, you use stock. But obviously like original is always better. So yeah, I think that's pretty sweet what you guys are doing.
Appreciate that. And we're in the early phases, so getting it all together and off the ground, it's kind of hectic, but we're gonna get there, and once we do, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah, we definitely have been there. I mean, when we first made the pivot into the Web3 space, it was like it was a calamity, man. There was so much going on. There's so many moving parts. Like you're your own tech team, you're your own marketing team, you're your own sales team, you're your own, like for us and for you, you're your own production studio, you're your own Twitter manager, you're managing your own Discord. It's just it's a ridiculous amount of stuff. So I feel like, it definitely, like the first couple months when we had began to build out the project, that was when we were like, man, this is borderline undoable. And then you kind of power through those months and you get to a place where you're like, you begin to settle in and you begin to hit your flow, and it's still a ton of hours and it's still nonstop, but it's not as like brutally overwhelming as it is initially. At least that was our experience, because we're just a pretty small team. Like our production studio is large, but on the NFT side, we're a much smaller team than I think the vast majority of animated series NFT projects. So it's definitely it can definitely be a little bit overwhelming, but the stride gets hit eventually. So it always comes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And are you guys doing any NFTs related to Starseed Film and Music, or are you more like a Web3, like streaming, connecting type of project?
We dabbled into the NFTs at the beginning, but it didn't quite work out. What I want to do is go back and mint or create all of the golden movie tickets that we give out to everybody that we interview, turn those into NFTs, and then give them to our guests. But other than that, any NFTs other than that, no, we haven't really messed with that. But I got to get back on that. I don't know which platform I'm going to use for the golden ticket NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. We've seen a lot of interesting things over the past few months. Obviously, we kind of focus in on animated series, but we kind of like to investigate everything out there. You see, in terms of animated series, we've seen the gimmicks, do free NFTs on, what was it on, Ryko? Polygon?
No, they do it on Solana.
Solana, yeah.
Because Solana is just like a much, I mean, obviously like our mint is taking place on Ethereum, but Solana is definitely like a good opportunity. I think there's just like less transaction fees, less gas. But yeah, I mean, Solana, it also depends. I mean, people do a lot of drops on Poly Network, or Matic Network, Polygon. So yeah, it really just depends on, I think, like, your target audience, and if you're trying to make them, like, if it's a free drop, then Solana and Matic make a lot of sense, right? Because they're not paying any gas, versus Ethereum, like, they have to pay the gas fees on Ether for a free drop. Sometimes people don't want to do it. So it really just depends on the drop structure and the mint structure, I think.
Yeah. But I'm gonna get them up though. I'm gonna get them up, and I'm gonna get them to you guys, and they're gonna be worth something here in the future.
Nice. And what does it give you access to? Is it gated content?
Say it again.
Are you doing like gated content through the NFTs, kind of like the Stoner Cats model, where you like can't see episodes or content? In your case, film and music. It's behind the NFT, so you have to own an NFT to go in there and be part of that content. Is that what it's going to be like, or is it kind of open and it's ungated?
We haven't even thought about that. But that would be kind of a cool idea. We, for every golden movie ticket that we give out, have some type of clip from the interview of that filmmaker attached to it, but it'd be, as a hidden piece of content. That would be dope. So I'm definitely going to keep that idea in mind. I appreciate that.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, Ryko and I have really got our foothold on this because we started basically this time last year. So we've seen kind of, the entire thing change every month, so we kind of like the model. We're open in our case. And just a quick rundown of what we are. We're Roads to Rome, an animated comedy series. We're on YouTube and Rad NFTV. Excuse me. And our Unethical Cupid token, which my co-creator Ryko is on right now. That account serves as co-creation access tokens, so that any of the holders can come in and they can actually co-produce the show with us. From everything from voicing characters, pitching us new characters that we're going to be including in the show. We actually have that ongoing in our Discord right now. A community-generated episode, having people's likeness turned into a cartoon and included in an episode. And if they happen to die off in that episode, they get to kind of choose how they're going to die off. But yeah, so we're ungated right now, so people can view us with or without a token, because we figured that'd be a good way to bring people in and see the actual show and how good it really is. And then if they want to get that extra layer of fanhood, they can come in, buy the Unethical Cupid token, and be a part of the community and the production team. We're looking into ideas to like maybe gate some things like for instance, behind the scenes, we do some voiceover behind the scenes that's kind of like out there right now. You can see us in the voice booth doing the character voicing, and some of our voice actors in animation, behind the scenes animation. So we may, kind of put that behind the token at some point. But right now we're doing everything open. But I do like that idea of kind of like a, a mixture of the two, because it gives a little bit more benefit to your biggest supporters.
Oh yeah. I got a kick out of that video, the bloopers video you guys put up on YouTube. That's kind of why I made it a part of y'all's arrival video. I thought it was so funny.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to go in there and in the voice booth and mess around. Raiko and I have a good time, and we've been able to assemble a really just extremely talented team. We've been blown away by the independent creators out here, even in Web 2, which is where a lot of our talent has originally come from voice actors to animators and to designers and everything else, sound design. And we're really lucky to build like a very strong team who's fun to work with too. So there'll definitely be more behind the scenes as we grow.
Awesome. Before I dive deeper into the show, I want to ask you guys a little more about how you got started, and when did you? I'm sure you were always able to draw, but when did you decide that, hey, I want to do this for a living?
Yeah, so actually, Joe and I, I'm Raiko, by the way. Anybody in the room who doesn't know me, I'm the co-creator of Redstrom. So actually, Joe and I aren't artists. I can't draw a lick, man. I'm like Mr. Stick Figure. Yeah. So we started off as stand-up comics. So I performed in New York City for about 6 years before I ended up moving down here to Florida, actually about a month ago. And I was a paid writer.
Okay, we're from Florida. I'm sorry. I'm from South Florida.
Oh, okay. I'm from Palm Beach Gardens.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Where are you from?
I'm a Boca girl. Boca Raton.
Oh, that's crazy. So I worked actually 3 years for a corporate healthcare company in Boca, off Yamato and Glades. And then I was like doing stand-up down here, down in Florida for 2 years. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to pursue comedy in New York. So I just moved to New York City, and that's kind of how I got my start into comedy. And Joe and I had always collaborated on like little sketches and little like writing assignments. We had like a little sketch comedy podcast. So we had always dabbled in like comedy writing. And then basically I was like 2 or 3 years into my stand-up journey in New York City, and Joe just called me and he was like, hey, do you want to write an adult cartoon? And that's basically how we got started. Like years earlier, we had this idea for like a live action buddy comedy film about like two animal trappers who are trapping all these crazy animals that fought in the Roman Colosseum, just because we were always fascinated that actually happened in real life. So then when Joe called and was like, let's do an adult cartoon, like I called him back the next day and I was like, dude, remember that idea you had like 5 years ago? I was like, that's a cartoon. So we just spent that was like late 2017. And he and I basically just spent like 3 hours every single morning beginning to flush out like what we would like this cartoon to look like, what we would like the characters to look like, what we want their conflict to be, what we want the world to look like what are the limitations. So that's really how the show began. Was just like us spitballing ideas for it. And then we just started. We really.
Oh, I think you dropped for a second, right?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me? I think I had a call come in that I had to send a voice.
Yep.
Yeah. So it sent us on this wild journey where now we look up and it's been 5 years and we're like, holy crap. Like we can't believe we've been at this so long, but it's been like a lot of fun. We've gone through a million different iterations of scripts. Actually, originally, the Cornelius and Professor Cornelius was actually trapping animals with his uncle, and they were trapping like actual animals. And then we pitched Hollywood, and we had got pretty far into a pitch with Frederator Studios, and they gave us some really good feedback. And then we were like, let's really lean into our strongest characters. So we got rid of his uncle. We took Helena. We made her the Emperor. We made Professor Centaur Cornelius's trapping partner, and then we made them trap mythical beasts because they just have so much more of a shelf life. So that's kind of the quick way that we got to making the pilot up until last year.
Wow. I was not expecting that. That's amazing,
Yeah.
though.
So can I ask you something real quick? Because I got to meet you guys. But um, there's an NFT conference. I think it's music and film and everything coming into PGA. Do you know about it? Is it May 17th?
PG,
I'll DM you the information. I'll take this today's show and see if I can blog about it. I'll send that in as my sample because
yeah,
they need to send me some I gotta send them samples on my writing and stuff. So
really, yeah, PGA National, like that's my hometown. So yeah, for sure.
yeah, I know. You just told me. I was like, oh my god, when are they gonna be there? I can meet up with you.
Yeah,
Okay, go.
actually, I would love that. I mean, I'm 3 hours away in Tampa, so yeah, absolutely. Please do send me those details. I didn't know about that. That's crazy. Yeah, and then one other thing I was going to add, like I said, like Joe and I don't animate, so basically what happened was we had put together the idea for this show, and then in doing so we found an independent animation studio out in Brooklyn to put together a teaser for us. So that's when we had worked through like the character designs and kind of like what the world would actually look like. And then that's the yeah, so we used that teaser and a show bible, and we had a first and second episode script that we began to pitch Hollywood with. um After the pitch with Frederator, we basically decided we knew we had to rewrite the pilot, and the second episode was going to get tossed out, and we were going to redo a lot of the premise stuff. So as we were doing that, we were like, you know what, man, this would be more fun. Let's just self-fund the pilot and then just see what kind of happens from there. And at that time, our director of animation, Benjamin Leffler, he just reached out to us randomly, actually on an Upwork ad that I had that had expired months ago that no one had gotten back to me with, that I'd completely forgot that I'd even posted. And he got back to Joe and I, and he was like, hey, man, I hooked your characters up to a couple rigs. I made them dance. Let me know what you think. And I remember we looked at it and we were like, holy shit, this is good. We're like, this is really good. Like, he could do this. And then it was just like wheels up from there. We just hit the ground running. We finished the brand new pilot script. That took us like 2 months to redo the entire series in terms of like some of the shifting characters and stuff. And then we got to work on the pilot, and it's been go ever since. And we're actually in the process right now of vetting an additional animators to bring them on board. We have a few applicants that we're in the final stages of, and they're going to come on board and speed up our production time and our turnaround time. And we've just been slowly growing and really slowly at this for 5 years. And it's just, and then Web3 popped up out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere. And then we saw the opportunity, we pivoted into this space, and it's been a whirlwind, but it's been a lot of fun.
Wow, that story. Like it seems as if it was all set up for you guys to do this. Like all the stars were aligned just for you guys to do this. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, they got something here. I could definitely see this on like Adult Swim or something. I was like, this cartoon could definitely build a cult following. I definitely can see it.
Thanks so much, man. I mean, honestly, that's what we're going for. Like when we got into it, we were always like, we want BoJack's realism to kind of meet Rick and Morty. Obviously, Rick and Morty's dialogue is just like ridiculous and borderline unattainable, but that's kind of what we were going for. And like, you know how you said something about like the stars aligning. It's so interesting because I was on a space the other day and somebody asked, they were like, hey, I have an idea for an animated adult cartoon. How should I like go about funding? And I was like, you don't. I was like, you just write it. You just begin. Because, when there was a million times that this show should have died, there's no reason for us to still be here. But all of these small, weird things kept popping up exactly when we needed them to pop up, like exactly when we needed to find a really talented animator who believed in our series, we did. And like exactly when we needed feedback from Frederator Studios, like we got the feedback we needed. Because if we didn't get that feedback from Frederator, we would have self-produced our original pilot and it sucked. So because we got that feedback, we were able to rewrite the pilot, rewrite the script, reformat the show, and then we found the animator, and then everything just began to happen in time. I mean, like even, like it's crazy to say, but like even with COVID stuff, like, I was supposed to be performing at Broadway Comedy Club for a residency and quarterly auditions to get passed into the club to become a paid regular. And then COVID hit. So that was put on hold. So that gave Joe and I time where there was nothing, all the clubs were shut down. So then Joe wasn't performing, I wasn't performing. So we had time to rewrite the pilot. And then all of these weird things just kept falling in line. And then literally like after we put episodes 2 and 3, like 2 into production, we were pretty much out of like capital production costs. And then all of a sudden, like Web3 pops up, and we just happen to know somebody who was like very close to us, who like happened to be an OG ape and was like, hey guys, I think you might have accidentally started an NFT project. Let me show you how it will work. So it's like, you know, if you have an idea and you have a dream, like I was saying on that other space, like just chase it, because things will begin to fall into place if you don't give up. Like it's very difficult to kill an idea that refuses to die. So you got to get lucky, and like we've definitely gotten lucky, but like things happen in their right time, and whenever we've been impatient, it's paid to be patient, and we've learned our lessons, and it's just been a really wild journey. Like this show has made us grow, I think, as like people more so. Like we owe the show a lot, you know. And it's just been like a hell of a ride.
Wow. You know, you get lucky, but you also have to put in that work. And you guys have been putting in that work, you know. It definitely won't come to people not putting in that work, and you guys definitely have been putting in that work. If you guys haven't seen it, I suggest you guys join us at 8 o'clock p.m. We're going to be premiering episode 2 right here on Beem, so you guys will get a chance to check these guys out. And they're brilliant. They're brilliant. Their comedy's funny. The whole concept of the cartoon is just awesome. They did amazing work.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, like Greg was saying, it's been a real journey. We really had to kind of, you know, coming from the comedy world, no one really teaches you anything. You kind of have to learn by yourself. So, you know, since 2017, it was like, okay, how do you write a script? You know, and we went out, we drove out to New Jersey. We met a woman who's like a really good script writer, and she taught us like how to format scripts correctly. This is almost 6 years ago now. So almost everything we did, from like voicing characters and all that, like we really put the time into trying to perfect these things, almost like one at a time. Like, let's get really good at script writing. We did, you know, we laughed because when you hear people say like, oh, you'll write 100 versions, we were like, ha ha ha, we'll write 6. And then you look up and 2 years later, it's like, oh my God, we wrote 150 versions of this. Are we insane? But you get better and you learn how to actually format and flow and everything like that. And then, you know, it picks up again with trying to get the correct audio for a cartoon and make it sound crisp and clean. And, you know, we had to set up an entire voice booth in my closet here in New York City, which is a little bit tight. And that's our voice booth. So we've tried to do everything like kind of almost one at a time and teach ourselves to be near perfect with it and do the best we can. So it's been crazy, but we're pumped to still be in here and fighting.
Well, and the other thing too is like it's still such a learning experience. Every time we go and produce a script and produce an episode, we learn. So like the pilot was a little bit choppy. The video editing wasn't where we wanted it. The sound design wasn't where we wanted it. Some of Joe and my VO was not as quick as it needed to be. So we learned from that for episode 2. And then after episode 2, I was like, you know, like we brought on a new sound design team for episode 2, and we really loved their work. But then, you know, like I was watching South Park the other day, and I was like, you know, South Park's sillier scenes have sillier score. So then we call the sound design team, and we're like, hey, what do you guys think about like loosening up some of the realism on the score for like some of our sillier scenes for episode 3? So like we're still learning, we're still hitting our stride, we're still getting better with every episode. And I think like any show and any creative work of art like that anybody has ever pursued, like the goal is to be consistently improving, and like we're our worst critics, and it's not even close. And every time we finish an episode, we're like, well, this episode sucks. And then we watch it and we're like, okay, actually it's pretty good. That was actually pretty decent. You know, so like it is a learning experience. And then even with the Unethical Cupids NFT project, like this has been a wild learning experience for us, you know, like I'm sure anybody who got into this space can tell you, like it's, you know, like you guys know well, like it's just a heck of a learning experience. And you know, it's always been something like we're always open to critical feedback, and we just want to improve, and we just want to put out a good product for our community, and we just want to, you know, allow our community to co-create with us in like efficient and fun ways. And so we're always trying to get better at everything we do and just be like super authentic and organic in our approach, and, you know, and treat everybody on our team well and make funny stuff. You know, at the end of the day, like I just want our stuff to be funny, and I want it to come from a good place. So that's pretty much how we got here, I think.
And the fact that you guys let the community write the episodes, That's mind blowing.
Well, yeah, we have they definitely have a lot of creative input. We're still writing the episodes. There's one episode per season that's going to be totally generated by the community. That's going to be episode 5 of every season. So we're actually coming up on that. But for instance, like the character pitch, that's open right now. So people are sending us their characters based on all these different questions we raise about their character, and they create their character, and then we can go in and put that to pencil and paper and really create it for them. And then the community episode is going to be basically prompts, but a little bit more in depth. It'll be our most in depth co-creation benefit. So they're going to have one episode per season that's basically totally created by them. So that's going to be really cool to see, whether they want to include some unethical cupids in it, or if they want to follow a certain storyline or character. We're open to anything. And they're honestly, like, we have a smaller community, but we have a really hilarious community. Shout out April. Hello. She's in our community. She actually wrote a killer character pitch recently. So we have some really funny people in here, and coming from the stand-up comedy world, you're used to kind of doing everything on your own. It's not a team sport, and this is totally different. This is a team sport. So Reiko and I had to figure out how to be good team members to each other, and then when we opened up to the community, it was like, okay, this is a real team sport now. We have all these people who are depending on us to create a high quality, funny cartoon, and they've delivered it right back. They really have with what they're giving to us and their creative concepts. So it's been wild to see. You kind of think like, oh, no one can be that funny, and then you get it and you're like, this is fucking hilarious. So yeah.
Well,
That puts you. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, one advantage that we had is that we did have the pilot before Mint, and no other animated project had actually done that. And obviously we did it by accident, because we were a self-produced, web series first. So the cool thing about that is that everybody in our community was able to kind of see the direction and like our vision for the series. So when we open up co-creation, like our character pitch, we get really on par stuff, and nothing's like wildly, like out of left field. Like it's all really good. And we also continue to find ways to like open up co-creation. So one of our main characters is an orphan. His name's Cornelius. And just last week, I think last week, we were like, why don't we just hand over his backstory to the community? So we were like, hey, he's now your character. Tell us what happened to his parents. Tell us how he became an orphan. And some of the things we have gotten, I read it on our writer's room and I laugh out loud because I'm like, that's brilliant. So not only are you giving us really good ideas, you're actually saving us time. We don't have to, we had ideas for this stuff, but now the community just kind of takes it and run with it. So anybody who mints an unethical cupid can go in and like directly contribute in a very serious way to this series. And I think that that's really cool. And I think that that's like really what Web3 is all about.
With that attribute right there, that puts you guys in you guys are in a league of your own. That's so dope.
Can we talk merchandising too?
Yeah, sure.
Kind of curious. I mean, like, coming from South Florida, and if now I'm more connected to you since I know you guys are from South Florida. I'm so excited about this actually. So like how people in Miami and how we dress, we love this kind of stuff. Will you be doing a lot of merchandising? Because I see T-shirts, I see a lot of people wearing this. It's like a whole trend.
Yeah, so we actually just began to discuss merch and just to kind of like roll out how we would do it, because like
I think I accidentally muted you. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Oh no.
No, you're good. Yeah, we actually are just deciding on our first like limited run merch drop. So what we're going to do is Joe and I are going to work with a couple different vendors and get a few different designs and some different product lines. We'll probably get like 4 or 5 of them, and then we're just going to put it to a community vote, and the community is going to pick like our first 2 initial merch items, and then we'll produce those. So yeah, we're actually just now hitting the ground running on merch, because like the vast majority of our capital does go back into production. So we had to wait till basically post mint. Some projects are able to do it before mint, but we just weren't able to swing that. Everything we had kind of went into developing the project in these second episodes. So yeah, merch is coming, as they say, and we're actually pretty stoked about it. We had a couple people in our community already take their coupons and go out and make their own merch, which has been really fun to see. But we will have some official merch releasing here probably in the next like 4 weeks.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, keep a lookout for the bucket hats. We're playing with a few different ideas. We're going to let the community vote on what we come up with. We'll send them a few different designs. So we have some fun ideas that we're just starting to dive into with that. So it'll be cool to see how that shapes up.
It'd be fun, like a costume idea for Halloween, like a toga or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to start walking around with a toga on normally, actually.
Be looking like that South Park episode where the economy tanks and everyone's wearing togas.
Yeah, we're
It's
back
right
there
around the
anyways. Might
corner.
as well.
That's funny. I hope not.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm always keeping a price on an eye on Ethereum, and I'm like, just hang in there, buddy. Just hang in there.
How many more? Do you think you guys are going to do any spin-offs?
So yeah, that's something that we're definitely considering. We've talked to a few of our artists. It's all basically based on like what the community wants and what our production studio can do. So we're actually thinking about in the future here, once we sell out the 1,000 Genesis tokens, we're going to try and do something where it's almost like a spin-off based around the Unethical Cupids, but within the same world of Roads to Rome. And that would give the community even more access to like really create the show. And then we're almost more hands off with that. And we kind of guide them and produce it for them. Obviously, there's going to, you can't have 800 people making decisions. So there's definitely going to be things in place that make the most sense so that it's nice and crisp for everybody and easy to follow. But yeah, we have a plan that we're not quite ready to talk about yet and that we have to straighten out things on, but it's going to come once we sell out the 1,000 Genesis tokens. So we're really looking forward to that because, we'd like to get to a point where we can do, these 15 minutes episodes. They take a long time to produce, which is why we're upping our production studio and our capabilities. That's basically where most of the Ethereum is going from the first 1K Genesis drop. But we also have the ability to create little, 2 to 3 minute episodes that would come out more regularly and give the community really almost complete control of that. So it could be really fun.
And there's so many cool little options out here. Like even just the other day, I was talking with the folks over at Toonstar who are doing the gimmicks, which is Mila Kunis's newest project, and they were basically telling me that the way that they animate, because they're putting out like anywhere from like 1 to 4 minute episodes every week, but they do it through an AI program, so it's not hand drawn, but it's still really cool. So there's just so many different opportunities for expansion and innovation in not only Web3, but also in like the animated software space. Like these things are coming. So, it might be a situation where we might be able to partner with another project and leverage their, animation AI and be able to create little episodes. So there's just, we are a little bit ways off from that, but I definitely think it's absolutely doable. If it needs to be hand drawn through our production team, then it can totally be that as well. And it's just a matter of figuring out, like, honestly, if it's like short little spin-offs, like how do we do it? Do we have community showrunners? Do we have a couple people who are fully dedicated to guiding these writers' rooms for the community? And doing it that way. That way it really is like truly a full-blown community spinoff. Or is it something that Joe and I would like to be involved in from like a lesser perspective, where like we're kind of taking these ideas and compiling them? So there's just a million ways to do it. And they're all good. There's really no bad way to do it. It's just a matter of like what the community wants. And then like our production capabilities in terms of like delivering it and like what turnaround time is efficient and what the ROI is in terms of like if we did collaborate or we do leverage somebody else's programming. So it's just all that kind of stuff. So there's like in production, there's a million moving pieces, but it's always like a challenge. It's like a little puzzle, and we kind of enjoy trying to put them together and figure them out. And we'll lean on our community, and they'll definitely kind of help direct us. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Hold up.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I want to know, will you guys be hosting like meetups? I don't know. For some unknown reason, it just resonated with me. Like have in real life meetup, even if you guys can't have it, would like your token holders have in real life events around based around you? Because I just feel that I don't know. I just have this weird. I just feel like you guys are so interactive. I just want to meet you, but I'm kind of curious if you were to if I was to host an in real life meetup, but also talk a little bit more about your work. But that's the grassroots of marketing, right? Like especially now that you're like in South Florida. I mean, like you got to realize Florida people, especially Florida media people, love Florida people that come up with new ideas and new things. So I was just wondering. Like, I hope you do, because I would love to host something for you in South Florida.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Like 1,000,000%. I haven't had a car in 6 years in Manhattan, so you tell me where to be in Florida, I'll drive. I love driving. I'm there.
You probably go to Pompano Beach. I already envisioned it already. I already have it envisioned already. I just know exactly how we're gonna do it. It's on my church area, and I'm making up the calendar anyway. So but I'm trying to before I build a metaverse for it. I want to learn a little bit more about how the metaverse work. But I'm really really good at in real life events. So I was just thinking, well, how cool would it be? Because my church has a school built into it, so it has like, so we've been trying to and we're a technology health church, so we're a transhumanist church. So there's no God stuff going on. It's just more like, here's the technology, here's the health, and with health and technology, this is what's going to do for you. But we love featuring really incredible, like I think we're going to be showing longevity hackers. We're showing a movie on that. I think it'd be great if I can bring your show and to talk because I've been talking about NFTs. We've been talking about crypto for a while now. So, and again, I want to have like education aspect of it, but I see your whole brand and everything you show, and I love the community. It's like the next level of a lifestyle brand. What I'm talking about? Like, because you think about the Simpsons. I remember when the Simpsons launched, it didn't. That's a freaking lifestyle brand. I mean, and like all the other adult shows that we look at, we laugh the comedy aspect. But the ones that stick around is when people are able to remember a saying or quote based on that show. So I just see you guys doing that. I watched a lot of your stuff, so I think it's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, with the lifestyle brand, I mean, Rick and Morty, like, kind of is the epitome of that because I walk around Brooklyn, I see people with a Rick and Morty shirt on, and the Pickle Rick thing and Pickle Rick, just like you were saying, like there's one or two lines that people kind of cling to, and it just kind of takes off. Yeah, I'm actually in Brooklyn, but Ryko is down in Florida. I'm sure he would definitely be into that, and I'm going to be making more trips there as we jam on writing future scripts and everything. And in terms of other meetups, we are looking into doing something small for NFT NYC. We're going to have more information coming on that as we get closer. Just because we know that a few of our community members are going to be there. So we just want to meet them and, have a drink or, walk around Central Park and just get to know everybody. And it's always good to put a face to a name in real life. And these people have supported us in our dream. And, we want to absolutely show them our appreciation because they're making our dreams come true. And we want to deliver in every single way we can. In real life meetups, a hilarious cartoon, and everything in between. But it's just been, as you guys know, it's a difficult journey to kind of get all those things in line. But the past few months have been huge for us in doing that. And we're starting to see the light here. So, yeah, in real life meetups are definitely something we're interested in. So keep an eye out for NFT NYC. We'll definitely have some information on that.
Speaking of the metaverse and VR, have you guys tried like any of the comedy clubs on well, do you guys have an Oculus? Have you tried the Oculus out?
I don't have an Oculus. I did go into, I forget which one it was, a few months back, and I watched a comedy show in the metaverse.
Yeah,
it was interesting. I mean, it's totally different. We actually tried to organize one when we first launched our Discord back in October. Actually a little bit before that, but we were just like, we want to stick to. I think Ryko made a good point in another discussion we were in the other night that the projects that are going to survive are going to be projects who are very, very good at one thing. And we wanted to be very, very good we wanted to be the funniest animated series in the space. That's the goal. deliver to our community, be the funniest animated series in the space. So as soon as we started getting into like metaverse build outs and comedy shows, things we like, but like it kind of pulls you away from your center of gravity of what you're good at. It almost becomes too much. And we're like, while we're small, let's be nimble and let's be good at one thing. So it's definitely something like we're interested in. You know, if we can make a partner for a comedy metaverse space, we would consider that. But in terms of like leading that type of thing, we're not so interested in right now because we want to focus on what we're good at and get even better.
That's what I was just about to get. That's what I was. We have the Starseed Film and Music headquarters. I hired a designer, and it should be done on May 3rd. So we're gonna have our own little spot on a Facebook Horizon. Facebook Horizon is actually dope. Like when it comes to this metaverse type stuff, as like a platform, it's awesome. So we'll be able to throw like performances or comedy shows and stuff like that at the Starseed headquarters in the metaverse. So if you guys want to give your stand up or try some new material, put that Oculus on and, you know, just let us know. We could set up an event. I haven't organized my first event yet because it's not done. We're still trying to, you know, get it finished, but it will be done in May, and that's the plan. That's where I'm trying to go with that. So
that's awesome, man. I think it's a really good idea. I definitely think that there would be comics who'd be interested in. I mean, if you want to shoot me a DM or I can shoot you a DM, you know, we have kind of like a Rolodex of comics that we used to work with in New York who might be interested in doing something like that. I myself am a bit rusty. This project has taken all my time, so I haven't performed since July. That's kind of when I kind of like had to step away from stand up because we were doing the project and just working on the show, and those things are full-time jobs. Plus I had a full-time job. So yeah, but definitely if you're interested in doing that, you know, I can give you a few different comics. Actually, the voice of Hadriana in Roads to Rome, her name is Tata Charisse, and she's a Philadelphia stand-up, and she is hilarious. She is so raunchy, so funny. She's so damn good. And she's like a legitimate killer. So if I would love to put you in contact with her. I'm sure she'd be down. She's like down for literally anything. She performs. I feel like she performs 5 times a day. I see her on Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat. That woman is relentless. So I'd love to put you in touch with her because she's damn funny.
Yeah, do that. That'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome. I went to a couple comedy shows on Facebook Horizon Worlds, and it was so hilarious. It's like you're in this little animated world, but you're at a real comedy show, and it's just an experience you have to experience, you know. So I was just like, we need one of these. We need our own venue on Facebook Horizons where we can have events, we can have concert, we could have people come perform, we could have comics come through, and you know, yeah. So that's what I did. Hopefully, it'll be done on May 3rd. That's the day we cut the ribbon.
Awesome. Keep us updated. I'd love to top in one of those shows and watch for sure.
Definitely. So this is the last 10 minutes of the daily interview. Does anybody have any questions you guys want to ask Rose Tyrone? We will be premiering their second episode later on tonight, so don't forget to come back and join us on Beem.
Have you guys heard of Comic Cure down in South Florida? I'm kind of curious. For some reason, I feel like people who are in comedy should know that.
I have actually. Is that
Yeah, they do a lot of things for
actually,
me.
they have events in like I've definitely seen this. I've actually been on one years ago.
That's what I thought.
That sounds
Yeah.
so familiar. I did one in Miami. They have them all over the place down there, right? Like there's like 4
So
or 5 throughout the year.
Benjamin Lays is the founder. So
I
Benjamin
know
and
Benjamin Lays. Rico, you know Benjamin Lays.
Yeah, I've known Benjamin since he was in college. Can you believe that? I've like promoted his events. Like he like I've had him on my talk show for so many like whatever he's into. So when he was in Boca doing the comic cure, I pop in and take pictures and like I really like I was just so proud of him. And then I mean like I met his parents, his sister. I mean you should see the whole family. It's really interesting. And then the brother. So I was just kind of curious, you know, maybe you guys can do something down here and we can collaborate together. I'd love to continue a conversation of you know, just having in real life, and especially you know Ben, and Benjamin and I, we go way back, and be kind of really good because I want to take the advantage of the church that I'm working with. So I'd love for you guys to be part of it, like come in and perform, or even like come and like meet, so people can meet you, greet and meet, you know, and kind of like share your story because I want to raise more awareness about this. But the fact that you know Benjamin, because that's who I'm getting ready to call before I even had you on the show. But listening to you talk, and I'm like, oh my god, they gotta know Benjamin.
Yeah, he may not even remember us. That's when we were doing open mics down there, really just getting our feet wet into stand-up comedy. This is, oh my god, almost 7 years ago now, I'd say. But yeah, he may remember us. I doubt it though. I don't think we were as impressive back then with our fart jokes. But he may remember. Who knows? But I definitely remember him because he was setting up a lot of the comedy shows down there. He was really impressive.
I'm so excited about the things that I'm hearing here. I just want to ask, how do you protect yourself against things like piracy? I do have some kind of concept on NFT in film that I'm thinking of, but I'm always scared that if I put it out there, you know, something like piracy might just, you know, take it away from me. So I just want to find out from you guys, how do you protect yourself against piracy? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good question. You know, I mean, the thing is, we produce these things, so they are one of ones, and then the second they hit, you know, YouTube, you know, that just is what it is because we're not completely token gated. We're basically a hybrid model because what we want really is we want to pull in monetizations not only from the project but additionally from traditional revenue streams because kind of we're of the mind that as the NFT space grows, you know, like projects that are fully dependent on future drops just it's not something I don't know if it's a fully sustainable business model. Just drop after drop after drop. I think sometimes, you know, even if you have a huge community, you're sucking liquidity from your community. And people are going to be interested in other projects as well. So we are kind of a two-spoke project where we have like hopefully the traditional monetizations through ads, sponsorships, product placements on like Web2 platforms like YouTube. And then additionally, obviously, you have revenue coming in from things like merch and token drops and things of that nature. So in terms of piracy of the actual show, that's not something that's like actually a huge concern because as soon as it hits, you know, YouTube, it hits YouTube. Obviously, um, you know, if people are watching it on other platforms and stuff, that takes away from like ad revenue and stuff like that. But like that's just, you know, that's just the cost of doing business. That's like pretty standard in the space. And additionally, like we want to support Web3 streaming platforms as well. So we are on Rad NFTV. We intend to be on Blockbuster DAO when they launch, hopefully, you know, like non-fungible films, things of that nature. But those things are pretty much in their infancy. So those are things like we're just happy to partner with them to lend, you know, like our hand and to be like, hey, you know, for sure, like you help promote us, we help promote you, things like that. When it does come to piracy, the big thing we learned early on, and it's not something we talk about too much, but when we were pitching the Hollywood circuit, I had a friend in Hollywood who actually sold a couple scripts to Miramax, and I remember I reached out to him and I was like, "Hey, what's your position on like sending these unsolicited pitches? You know, because every studio is basically like, don't send us unsolicited pitches, you know." And it's like, could somebody possibly like, you know, jack your idea? And you know, through talking to him, he was like, "Well, not really. It costs so much money to create an animated series. If somebody takes your idea and they're able to, you know, put it into production, hats off to them." Well, so we took that advice and we did send a few unsolicited pitches out to people. And then we fast forward about 2 years later, and one of the studios that we had sent an unsolicited pitch out to began developing a animated series that's the world and a lot of it is incredibly similar to ours. But so
Wow.
yeah, that was unfortunate. I mean, their series is going to be great. They have, you know, hundreds of millions behind the funding, and it's being produced by a major studio, and it's going to be really good. And you know, in a lot of ways, it helped us because when we saw that press release come out, we were basically like, oh, well, now we have to be a self-funded web series because nobody in the Hollywood space is going to pick up a show based in ancient Rome when a very similar show based in ancient Greece is about to come out. So in terms of piracy, that's the only thing that I would say really to be concerned about if you're a production studio is like, you know, there are ways to make your things now. There really are ways to make things that are relatively cost effective. So I would always say if you can put together a teaser or a trailer or self-fund a pilot, anything of that nature, just to kind of establish yourself in the space and to be like, I did this, I was first. But I would definitely avoid like sending anything unsolicited. We learned that lesson the hard way. And if you're, and if you really do believe that you're onto something and you have a spectacular product, like an NDA is your friend, and anybody you talk to who, like you're seriously pitching or you're seriously discussing with, I would recommend doing something like that to cover yourself, because you just never know. There are people out there with access to ridiculous amounts of capital who can turn things around in a way that an independent creator simply can't. But that would really be the only thing that I would be wary of in this in the space.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Appreciate that question, Bodum. All right. Well, we are at the end of the interview here, brothers, but we're going to have you coming back at 8. We're going to watch episode 2 of Roads to Rome. But I just want to thank you guys for the interview. And like I do every week, present you guys with the golden movie ticket. You guys are now in the Starseed Hall of Fame. Yeah, you guys have something here. It's awesome. I can't wait to see where you guys go with it.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having us on. We really appreciate it. I think what you guys are doing is so cool, and it's really cool to see people, really building in Web3 with film and animation and everything. And some of our deepest partners now that have been people like you have hosted us and that we've hosted. So we just want to say thanks, and we really appreciate that. Also, episode 3 is coming in May, so we're about past 2/3 of the way in animation. Then it goes to sound design, and we're good. And if anyone's
interested, episode 2 or did I say episode 3?
That's episode 3 coming in May. Episode 2 is released. That's what we'll be watching tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, and episode 3 is coming in May. And then from there, we also, our Mint is still open. If you want to come check that out, or if you just want to get to know the community, hop in our Discord. That's discord.gg/Roads to Rome. Come check out the community. I think you'll be impressed. And if you want to co-create with us, grab yourself a Cupid, and we'll be rocking. So just wanted to say that, and we really appreciate you and Tonya.
No problem, man. You have supporters here. Anytime you want to come back, just let us know.
I'm already planning
100%.
our event already. We're gonna do this. We're putting out this press release. We're gonna put this in. No, for real. I think I love your project, and I see so many potential. And the more as your brand grows, and you become a lifestyle brand, don't forget us. Don't forget us, because I really see you guys
Absolutely not.
so much further. And then we see you today, and hopefully you're gonna promise me you're gonna come back and see us next year. Because I think 365 days from now, we will see some major changes. So again, thank you for being here, and I appreciate your stories. And that just proves that you never know. Every opportunity is just could be something that you never thought could happen, but it did happen. So here you guys are today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just got to keep going, and everybody in this space is doing it. So it's really inspiring to see, and inspires us. So thanks again for having us, and we're looking forward to 8 p.m. We'll be sure to spread that word to the Discord as well. We should have more people on that. So, and thanks for everybody who listened in here today. Shout out to Winks and April, 2 people in our community. Love you guys. Thanks for supporting, and everyone else who listened.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
See y'all next Wednesday at 12 p.m. For another Starseed Film and Music Virtual Film Festival. Peace out, y'all.
Later.
Have a good one.